Today I'm going to answer some questions from r/personal finance. Hi, I'm Ellen. I'm a 26-year-old angel investor and solopreneur. I've invested into over 30 startups so far, and I've also opened 2 companies and launched 4 products. And I've also been learning about personal finance for the past 10 years, ever since I was 16. Saving for a house, how to invest best. I have about 4K in PayPal savings to accrue the 4.3% interest, but I'm curious if I could be doing something better with it for quicker returns. My rough goal is to get to 10K for the down payment on a home. Any advice? Since you're looking to invest this amount into your future home, you don't have a lot of options. Most of them will come with a lot of risk. I think the best options that you have in your situation are either to buy treasury bonds, which are more secure than the average investment type, or to put all of that money into a term deposit. On deposits, besides the money being safer with the bank since they are insured, you can also get slightly bigger interest rates. And on top of that, you have the advantage that it makes sure that you're not going to spend that money on other stuff. Fast forward through this one. I have 20K to invest. What should I do? 23-year-old, living with my parents in Puerto Rico, earning around 60K per year. Expenses quite low, saved a significant amount that I want to invest. There is a game plan here which seems quite good in essence. Is this a good plan? Do I wait or do I start now? Any suggestions or recommendations are greatly appreciated. It depends on your goals. For example, I'm still 26, but even at this age, I still assume a lot of risk because I know that I want to get ahead by a lot. The plan enlisted in the post is quite good. A lot of people actually use it, and I've also looked into it, and it gives on average quite good returns. But the question is, do you want those average returns or do you want something even more? My approach is to assume risk right now because I still can. When you get older, it's not as easy. In order to decide if this is a good plan or not, you will have to first think about how much do you want to achieve and where do you want to go. And for the second question, do I wait or start now? The answer is start as soon as possible, as soon as you have the plan in mind. The best time to start was yesterday, and the second best time to start is today. Buying a house with a close friend. That's generally not a good idea, especially if you're going to live in it together. So, a friend and I want to buy a house together. Both are 26 years old. In grad school, we want to utilize the 213K method. K, one person on the mortgage. That's a lot of red flags. I have the best credit history. You never know who will screw you up on that. Plan to rehab something to increase the value instead of buying something moving ready and already updated. Everything will be split between the both of us: mortgage, insurance, taxes, down payment, and any other house bills. This gives us the opportunity to start at an investment property with help from one another. We have also stayed together in the past. That's not relevant. We would plan to live in it and flip the property. We'll probably stay there for some time and let it build some equity. We both were thinking of selling the property within 3 to 5 years. Tell me, what do you think of this plan, or if there is any advice or another solution for us trying to buy a house together. Any advice or help is greatly appreciated. We were pretty solid on this plan until I started asking experienced real estate investors about this idea. That makes sense. A lot of things can go wrong in a partnership, and especially when you're young, things can change. I also change my mind at least 2 times per week about the next steps that I want to pursue. It's even worse in this situation because everything is in your name. If the other person doesn't uphold their agreement, you will be the one that will have the bad credit history if you can no longer afford the mortgage payments. It also mentions that they want to do everything in writing with legal bindings, but by the time that you can enforce those, it will be already too late because your credit history will be hurt. Even if you change the method and you try to do this together, either through a company or a partnership, it's still the same risk. Taking a loan with someone else, unless you're married, it's never a good idea. Flash gift incoming. What to do? I have a $200,000 cash gift incoming from my living parents. It's important that it says living. It goes a bit into the tax stuff, which I'm not going to cover. But I think that the best option is to talk about what to do to keep the money safe and to ensure that it doesn't raise any red flags. First of all, whenever you are supposed to receive a large amount of cash, it's good to announce your bank ahead of time and ask if they need any information from your side to avoid raising any flags. And for the second point, if this is supposed to be a savings or emergency fund, keep it somewhere where you can easily liquidate it, which would probably mean in a savings bank account. Do I pay off my entire private student loan in one go? For the last 2 years, I've had a predatory private student loan looming over my head that has caused me a lot of distress. I'm so sorry for you. The original loan amount was for $10,000, and I've been making payments towards it ever since I got my first big job after graduating. I've paid so far over $5,500 towards the loan. With that being said, the payoff amount currently sits at over $9,000, and I had a meltdown a few weeks ago. How it feels like throwing money away every month. That's extremely justified. I've been aggressively saving money towards an emergency savings for the last 10 months and have incurred over $7,000. And with some aid from my cousin, I managed to get the entire amount. Here are the main questions. I know paying off the loan entirely in one lump will tank my credit score for a bit. This is something I'm a little worried about, and I don't know how much of a difference it would make to my credit to pay all of it off now or to continue to make the payments. No debt is good debt, right? I'd have a $250 bill gone every month, and I'd pay back my cousin in 4 months. The problem, I'd be back to zero in my emergency savings. This is inherently risky, but I'm not sure if this is worth it to have the predatory loan gone. I'm looking for some third-party advice regarding this. Is this a smart move? Will it hurt me in the long run? What if I have an emergency and have no emergency savings? It won't be back to the amount it's at until around September of next year. First of all, that predatory loan for sure has a huge interest rate, which is bad on its own no matter what. Tanking your credit score is nothing compared to the distress that you're going through at the moment. Anything that you might lose from your credit score, if any, you will be able to build back up with much better options after this one is paid off. So pay it off as soon as possible. Waiting any longer will only make it worse because you will continue to build up the interest at this ridiculous rate, and it seems that you're barely making any progress into the balance. So pay it off. And for the second question, having $0 in emergency savings is bad. But it's even worse to have this loan on top of your head if something bad happens and you can no longer pay the amount. Am I doing the right thing buying a house in cash? My personal investment portfolio has done well enough that I can sell most of it to buy a house cash. But should I? I'll be left with about 10k cash and 20k stock left over after paying capital gains taxes. Or do I take a 7% mortgage in order to keep my low-cost basis investments and have access to immediate cash at the cost of several $100,000 in interest over the years? This is separate from my retirement account, 38, married, no debt. There's a very simple and straightforward answer here for anyone that needs to decide between taking on debt or paying cash. If you're paying cash, you automatically get that return for sure of 7%. That is the interest rate of the mortgage. If you take on the debt instead, you will have to generate returns with that cash that will need to surpass the 7%. So the question here is, do you think that you can generate more than that with the cash available? If you can generate something around 14% on the cash, it might make sense to take on the debt and assume the risk. But if you cannot, and it's only something around 8%, the risk might not be worth it. Thank you for watching until now. If you've enjoyed this video, leave a like and check out my channel for even more amazing content.